Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Lori Arthur. I'm from IT Training and Support. And today we are talking about Titan Insights, specifically using the Faculty Student Success Dashboard. So today we're going to talk about training and support resources that are available for you. So a little bit of terminology, just so we're all on the same page. A little bit about what is Titan Insights, how to log into Titan Insights, and then we'll jump into a demo. I'll show you how to access reports, mark dashboards as favorites. We'll look at filters, chart and table options, bookmarks, exporting data, sharing reports with others, and then we will have a dedicated Q&A time at the end. So in terms of training and support, there's a lot of stuff out there for you. For IT training, we can kind of help you with questions about how to access and use Titan Insights. So a lot of the content that you'll see that is covered by our Titan Insights user guides that we have a link to here. I'm going to show you where you can find these within Titan Insights because there is a link to be able to view them there. So those are the types of questions that we can help you with in IT training. If you have more specific questions about the Faculty Student Success Dashboard, they do have that faculty dashboard at fullerton.edu. There's also the FSSD website. If you have technical issues with Titan Insights, IT Help Desk can assist you with that. And if you have just more questions about Titan Insights in general, or more specific questions about other dashboards other than the Faculty Student Success or the data that you're seeing there, the ERP Data Warehouse team now has Titan Insights at fullerton.edu, and you can email them with suggestions and other questions that you might have. So just a bit of brief terminology so that we can kind of make sure that I'm not using anything that you're not familiar with. So data warehouse. This is an online repository for information. Our data warehouse actually combines a bunch of different sources of data into one place so that it makes it easy for users to view, filter, search information, create your own reports, essentially. At the moment, we have two data warehouses, Titan Insights, which is what we're talking about today, and then you might be familiar with OBIEE. That's our older data warehouse. A dashboard or report dashboard is just a way for us to group the information in the data warehouse together so that we have reports based on a particular topic. It also allows us to grant permission to reports based on a particular topic. So as we've talked about before, we're going to be talking about the Faculty Student Success Dashboard. And so this is grouping a bunch of reports together that are based on you specifically as a faculty, your students, their individual academic performance, their progress, success data. And then a report or tab, these are the actual reports that you're going to interact with by filtering, sorting, exporting the data. So for example, we're going to be looking at the My Overview report on the Faculty Student Success Dashboard today is one of the ones that we're going to look at. So Titan Insights is essentially a modernization of our campus data warehouse. We're using advanced cloud technology. And what we've kind of set up is we've made it what they call cloud agnostic, which simply means that at the moment, we're using Amazon Web Services, AWS QuickSight as our platform. And you'll see QuickSight in Titan Insights when we're there. But let's say that we decide to move to another platform later for one reason or another. Having it be cloud agnostic means we don't have to do a ton of work to reconfigure these reports to work on that new platform, which is kind of what we had to do in moving from OBIEE to QuickSight. So it should be a smoother process. There's also, you should find that Titan Insights is faster, it's more efficient, there's improved system stability and reliability. It is a replacement for OBIEE, but we're going to have both of them available until this summer of 2025. Currently, in Titan Insights, you can access student and HR dashboards, and you can access them both in Titan Insights and OBIEE, but I'll be talking a little bit about, for faculty student success, we recommend that you use Titan Insights, more specifically because of the Canvas integration. We can only integrate it with one data warehouse. And so we connected it to Titan Insights. And so a lot of your engagement data, it's the most up to date in Titan Insights. Finance dashboards, those are not, they're only in OBIE right now. They'll be coming to Titan Insights in spring of 2025. So in terms of logging into Titan Insights, of course, you have the Titan Insights icon. It's in Titan Online on the campus portal. For us faculty, The faculty dashboard link that is in your faculty homepage, this now redirects to Titan Insights. If you happen to have the faculty dashboard link in the tiles on your campus portal, this is going to the OBIEE version. And as I said, you can use either one, and most of the information will be up to date. It's simply that engagement data that is going to be most up to date in Titan Insights. So I recommend clicking the faculty dashboard in your faculty homepage or using Titan Insights on the Titan Online widget. All right, so here I am in my portal, and here's the Titan Insights icon. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And when you log into QuickSight, it usually takes you to this favorites, where it's going to show you all of the different reports that you have set up as your favorite. So I have these two that I have set up right here. I definitely recommend, and I'll show you how to do this in a moment, doing this for all of the reports that you access here in QuickSight, because it makes it a lot easier to get directly to it. You'll see there's several clicks that it's going to take us to get to these. So this makes it so much easier to come back to it later. You can also click on Recent to view the recent report dashboards that you've accessed. This dashboard doesn't really work very well. It's kind of complicated to find stuff. So we recommend when you first start out that you're going to use shared folders. And we're going to jump into student in a moment here, but notice here we have user guide. And if I click on the landing page, here's links to all of the user guides that we have for Titan Insights, including faculty student success. So you can easily get to this anytime without having to look around for it. And you can click the little star to add this to your favorites as well if you'd like. To get back to where I was, I'm going to go to QuickSight. And we'll go back to shared folders. And now I'm going to choose student. So I have access to a lot of reports. You may only see the faculty student success here, but if you see the drill reports too, these are kind of sub-reports for these. You can get to these by going to the main dashboard here. So we're going to go to faculty student success. And so here's the dashboard, and you can see I've already clicked the little favorites icon so that it's going to appear in my favorites. So I recommend that you do that so that it's easier for you to get to it in the future. So we'll click faculty student success. Yeah, and you can see it's giving me some of the same settings that I had from before. Here, we're going to go to my overview. And actually, let me just reset this. Okay, so you should see that this is very similar to the one that you have in OBIEE. Up at the top, you have different filters that are available to you, which are different depending, of course, on which tab you're looking at. But if I click here, you can see that I can choose only one term at a time. I can't view multiple. But if I look under class, you can see by default it's selected all of the classes. But this check mark lets me know that I can choose which ones I want to see. I can choose one, I could choose all four. It doesn't matter. I can choose pick and choose what I'd like. You can also do a search. And especially if you've taught here a long time, there's a lot of results here. So let's go ahead and I want to look at spring 2005. There we go, and it's updated. And in this case, it's also updated which classes I taught, because those are the ones that, well, the instructor that I am impersonating taught. I did not personally teach these, but here I can see now all of the classes. I can do a search here as well. So if there's a lot of different classes that you've taught, you can do a search here, and you can search for any part of this, right? I could search for just 489 to find that. And if I click this show selected, this tells me here's all the options that I have selected. And it makes it easy for me to remove something. So let's say I'm going to remove that. So it makes it pretty easy for you to adjust what it is that you're seeing so that you can see exactly what you're interested in viewing. You'll also notice when I hover over a particular filter, there's these three dots menu that pops up. There is a reset option. And what this does is resets just this particular filter. So let's say, oh, I didn't mean to do that. I want to go back to the original thing that I had for the class, but I don't want to change the term description. So I don't want to reset the whole report. I just want to reset the class. And it sets it back to the default, which is all of the classes for that term. So that's a nice way to be able to kind of adjust things. And if I scroll down here, the bar graphs work similar to what you've seen in the past. But again, you'll notice that I have a little pop-up here. This first one is maximize, which is going to mean that this chart is going to get bigger. Ooh, that's huge. But this makes it easy for you to inspect something that may have a lot of bars and maybe it's really tiny. This makes it take up the whole space, so it's easier to view. And I can simply click minimize to put it back where it was. I also have some options where I can view the summary data, which is show me the data that is used to create this graph. And so here you can see that's what it's put in there. Likewise, I can also export that information to a CSV if I want to export that data just for this specific chart. So because there are 3 charts here, I have to do that 3 times if I wanted all of this data. But that's kind of how the charts will work. And you can see there's some grade distribution down here too. And I have similar options. Now I am going to go over to the degrees dashboard to show you some stuff about the tables. And that's largely because all of the tables here have protected student data on it. So I don't want to show that, but everything that I'm going to show you here on the degrees dashboard, it should also work for the tables that you have on the faculty student success dashboard. So here's my table. And so if I click on one of these columns, you'll notice I have the option to change how it's sorted. Usually ascending, descending is what you'll be changing there. I can also collapse a column if I want to just roll up the data. I can also expand them if it's something that has something that I can expand. You can also do this for a row. I can collapse a row. But let's go ahead and look at, if I click on this particular cell, now I can drill down and see more details. Not all tables have a drill option in them, but when they are available, this allows you to get to more detail. In this case, it's showing me the actual majors for all of these Bachelor's of Arts degrees that were awarded. And here you can see this is one of those charts where you might want to maximize it to be able to read this because it gets pretty tiny. But then now I can see all the detail here. And I'm just going to close this tab to go back to my original report. You'll also notice I have the option to maximize this table. So if this is kind of small, I can maximize it. Well, that didn't make it very big on this particular way, but depending on your screen resolution, it might help a little bit. And then under menu options, I really like the show plus minus instead of using that expand collapse, because this makes it really easy to collapse something or expand it. So let's say I'm not really interested in the undergraduate right now. I'm more interested in the postbac. I can simply click that. And it hasn't removed this data. I can still see like it's now rolled everything up under just undergraduate, but I'm seeing the detail here for the postbacs. And I can simply click that again to bring it back. So I like this because it allows you to really pick and choose what you want to highlight and expand and view without having to do a lot of clicks. You'll also see options to export to CSV or Excel. And both of these can be exported to Excel. It's just a little bit different what gets exported. So for Excel, it's essentially going to drop everything that's in this table into an Excel file exactly as you see it on the screen. So I'm going to click on that. And you can see it's working on it. And there it is. And depending on your browser, sometimes it'll prompt you where you want to save it. Other times, like I'm using Firefox right now, and it just did it for me. It just put it into my downloads. And so you can see it dumped it in there with all the subtotals and everything else. So the problem I have with this is that it's not very easy to sort the data because of all the subtotals. So there's a lot of work that I'd have to do to it before I could even sort or filter. So my preference is the CSV. Because now it's just put the data in there. Now there's no formatting on this, so even this column doesn't know that it's numbers. So you do have to do a little bit of formatting in order if you wanted to like sort this like ascending, descending, etc. But it makes it a lot easier to quickly start sorting and filtering whatever you'd like to do with that data. But you can use whichever one works best for you. I just sort of tend to prefer the CSV. So let's say that I missed those two pop-ups and I'm like, oh no, what happened to my exports? If I come here to export and view exports, there they are. These are only saved by session. So like if I created reports yesterday or even earlier today and then closed this out and came back to it, they're not going to be there. They're only going to be there within the same session. So, but if you miss those two pop-ups, you can come here to exports and just click on the click to download and it will go ahead and download that again for you. So that's an easy way to find those exports. Also under exports, you'll see there's an option to print and generate a PDF. These both kind of work, but I feel like they both often will strip some of the data out. So you can go ahead and play with these and see kind of what works, but it usually cuts off some of the data unless it's a pretty small table. So just be mindful of that when you're using either of these. I think it's much better if you really want to make sure you're getting all the data. I would export the table and then export the charts too if you're interested. Or if you print, you'll definitely get the tables or the charts in there. It's more of the table data that will usually get cut off. So just keep that in mind that you may want to export rather than doing the print or the generate PDF. Also up here at the top, we have bookmarks. And so this is where you can save your settings. So you can see here's the default settings that I have for this particular report. If I click on this one I created the other day, it's changed it so it's last academic year. So if you have created some sort of settings that you want and you want to save that, you can click Add Bookmark, give it some sort of name, whatever is meaningful to you, because you're the only person who's going to see this bookmark name. And there it is. And you can come back here and rename it. You can also delete it if you don't find it, you don't need it anymore. You can also set it as a default, meaning that every time that I come to degrees awarded by major, it's going to use the settings that I have saved here as my bookmark. I kind of like that for academic year purposes, because now I could set this so every time I come here, I want it to be for the current academic year. Well, this is last academic year, but I could set it for this current academic year. And then it would always show me that as the default for that particular report. So that may be useful for you when you're looking at your stuff for this current year. There's also an option here to share. So I can share this view with someone. And this is just a link that then you could copy and paste into an email or a Teams chat or Zoom and then share it with somebody. They need to log into QuickSight and then actually click on the link and then they'll be able to get to the report. But it does have to be a report that they can view. So when you're talking about the faculty success dashboard, I don't know that there's a lot that you can share between faculty because of course you all teach different classes. But this is more helpful, I think, for any other reports that you may have access to if you want to share the information with somebody else. And then View has this fit to window option that you may or may not find useful. It kind of depends on your screen resolution and your screen and then how big your browser is. So if I click on this made it a little bit bigger, so it's a little bit easier to read. But if I make my screen smaller, that just made it teeny tiny. And if I uncheck it, it's a little bit better. So if you're having trouble viewing it, if you want to make things bigger without having to make, the browser window like use the zoom to adjust it, the fit to window is a good thing to try and see if that helps, because it can definitely help. And then lastly, if you want to sort of go back to the original defaults for a report, you can see like I did earlier where I just click this reset to original dashboard and it's cleared all of my customizations and it's just taking me back to the original default settings for this particular report. This is essentially the same as going to bookmark and choosing original dashboard. It's just quicker because it's just one little link right here. Thank you very much for attending and hope you have a good day.